Ash's journey. He's probably gone through everything as a Pokemon trainer, but it's not a secret that he's usually on the losing side of things. By 2016, Ash never won any of the top tournaments, but it looked like he was really hitting his stride with this Naruto Greninja thing going on, and he was probably gonna win it. And yep, he lost that tournament too. A lot of people argue that the Kalos arc was the best one, and it's kind of why it felt like a slap in the face to see him lose. But a few years later, Ash got his moment. He kinda looks not himself, but he got it done. And you know, surprisingly, he did it again. Longtime fans have always wanted for Ash to just win, but we started to see where things were headed, and if you haven't seen his latest tourney, it was a little too poetic to be just that. After 20 plus years of doing a tournament reset, we're used to the anime having someone be the focus for a long time. But with Ash on his way out and new trainers on their way in, I wouldn't expect the creators to do the same thing. It's hard to keep people invested in stories that last for decades. And going forward, I think the odds of trainers sticking around as long as Ash aren't in their favor. I just don't see it happening. I think people want shows that get to the point. No filler, and if it wraps up quickly, then great. And it's because it's often less intimidating to finish a small show compared to a long one. I feel like the shows that are long but had success are kind of old. The big three that I think of are Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto. They got big years ago, and it's the same for Pokemon with Ash, but I'm not so sure if people would give them the same chance if they were to start today. And it's because anime is just different now. These three shows are some of the top names out there, but when you start to get successful and longer than your peers, in the moment you're kind of on your own. It's like there's no show to measure yourself with, and tying the story together is something that you gotta figure out with hardly any help, because when they started, I don't think there were many anime to reference that were as long as they were gonna be. So keeping the story going makes the show a lot to manage, and sometimes can make it longer than necessary, where anime from the day can probably learn from that, to pick and choose what made a show good, but also see the flaws they might want to avoid. Pokemon's biggest moments are the tournaments, but it's not like we get there in 24 episodes. Now, I'm not saying that Liko and Roy's journey is going to wrap up like a seasonal anime, but I think their growth won't be so drawn out like Ash's. Otherwise, you have the creators doing the same thing that got the fanbase so frustrated. I'm happy that Ash won, but I wouldn't rewatch OG Pokemon again. Its slow-paced progression just isn't for me anymore. There's this 3-episode rule, and it's a way to gauge your interest in a show from the first 3 episodes. I feel like for most people that interest changes over time, like when a great show comes out and it changes our standard of what makes a show worthwhile. But your favorite shows back then might not be the same ones for you today. Our opinions just change, and as much as I like Pokemon, how I felt about the anime when it first came out is definitely not the same as it is now. Now, I'm not saying that a long show is bad, but over time, the viewer investment isn't the easiest to maintain. For Pokemon, Ash pretty much had a reset after losing tournaments. Reset his team, his badges, and somehow Pikachu just gets nerfed. I think fans got conditioned to see Ash lose, and it's okay for the main character to struggle. Now, the issue I have isn't because the creators made him lose too much, but it's because they weren't creative about it. And I think losing in the same way gets you a disappointed fan base. If you don't know, it looks like the new series is about Pokemon lore discovery instead of being the best trainer. But I feel like Ash could have done something like that next. I don't think his story had to end, and it came down to Pokemon just wanting it to. But to do that, it's like they care enough about the show that it's best to start over. Because if they don't, then you gotta handle Ash's power scale. Do they change his team again? Now that he's a champion, losing to some cheese probably won't be well received. I'm not even sure if the creators think Ash's story was good. Every time he lost, they egged us on thinking he'd win the next one. And I mean, it finally happened, but making it there wasn't always fun to watch. The reality is that it's hard to write a story for that long, and it's even harder to keep it good. But now's the chance to write a story that's different from a reset. In a way, having new trainers is like reinventing the Pokemon anime and where it can go. And there's no better time to try something new for the series than now. Now, before I continue, I feel like I gotta curb some expectations. With the changes Pokemon has planned, to me, I think the anime will be just okay. The series has never been known to be one of the best anime out there. And it's because thematically, the show is for kids. I feel like there's nothing that depressing in the show, except for Ash's habit of releasing his Pokemon. But still, the series is more or less upbeat. Everything kinda works out in the end. And I'm not expecting the show gone Attack on Titan, but just like Pokemon, I feel like the show's gotta evolve. And look, I get it, older fans like me are probably not the main target audience, but I still want the series to be better than before. To me, I think Ash's story was just too long for the wrong reasons, be it for money or just not knowing what to do. I think the viewer's enjoyment suffered, and that's exactly what I want the show to learn from and not repeat. What I'm hoping for is that today's generation likes this. And yeah, I know I could be wrong. Pokemon can milk this journey because if the money's good, they'll do it. But they also don't need the anime to survive, which kind of plays into this idea that switching main characters isn't that risky at all for them. With these new trainers, the Pokemon series is already different from what we know. And we gotta accept that for the things we think would never change, often end up doing that over time. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, all good things come to an end. Even though I think Ash's journey wasn't always good, it gave me a lot of memories. So it'll always be a special anime for me. But for the most part, I don't think Pokemon has really dealt with change. And yeah, I know that characters would come and go, but the creators still gave us the same concept, story, and you name it. But with Liko and Roy being the headliners, I think the show wants to change. And it's a pretty big deal because these long shows that continue kinda keeps the main guy around, be it for business reasons or fan service, but in Ash's case, I think Pokemon wants to keep him out of the spotlight. Honestly, I thought he would never leave this franchise, but the creators had him end on an unforgettable note, and I'm hoping that Liko and Roy's journey follows through on a memorable one too. Anyways, that's it for me. Now what do you think? Is this new journey gonna be just as long, or do you think it'll be a good amount? Or maybe they even bring back Ash? Let me know, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Even though I think Ash is